1:15 on February 23rd, 2023, calling the meeting of the Anchorage School District Governance Committee meeting to order. Go around the room and let everybody introduce themselves. Andy Holloman, school board member, chair of the committee.
Katie Grant, executive assistant to the superintendent.
Marty Lang, chief human resources officer.
Jared Bryant, superintendent.
And online we have
Member Donnelly.
Yeah, member Donnelly.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to the agenda. Discussion on revised board policy 5142.3, restraint and seclusion. And what we have are the recommendations for the changes, I assume, coming out of the administration.
Correct. The Department of Justice released recommendations, our legal team reviewed, and these were the final revisions.
Gotcha. And we'll take a moment for folks to read if they have not. Everybody have access to the, and it's on the screen.
Yes, for the online people. And it is attached to the agenda as well.
This one might.
Okay, so we might have an erroneous attachment or an unupdated attachment.
This one doesn't have all the changes that Matt explained. It still has seclusion on here, and it shouldn't.
Okay, so the latest one. So we did it up as track changes. So let me take this down. Let me just do this for now. Do you have one that you can send to us?
We had asked for one in the email group, and it didn't get sent. I was just trying to find it. Charlie's just getting with Matt right now.
Okay.
Let's, we can move to the second item on the agenda, and if it arises, we'll come back to that.
I'm sorry, Andy. We just.
Hey,
that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the agenda.
Not that that's a concern. So we'll move to item 2, revised board 9130 school board committees. And I don't know who brought this to the committee. Do you know?
I have some information, but we have member Jacobs and President Bellamy coming in remotely.
Oh, okay. So we're being joined by Vice President Carl Jacobs and President Margot Bellamy online, both.
And I don't see, and then actually Dora Wilson, Member Wilson, and she, I think, is the one that originally put, brought that language forward. So give her a sec to come in and then.
Okay. And we're being joined by Member Wilson. Does anyone want to speak to this particular policy change? As I said, I don't know who originated it. Margot asked me earlier in the day, and I was thinking that we would have someone here that knew.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, what is the question? Oh, Dora has her hand up.
I just joined. I apologize, Andy. You had asked for somebody to speak regarding something, and I'm not sure what you had said.
Oh, in regards to board policy 9130, the school board committees, which would be a community engagement committee.
So, Andy, I'm happy to speak to it. There was discussion. I actually didn't realize it was going to come to governance. So at this point, I would honestly withdraw it for some further discussion, but the intention was because we have more of a community engagement update during the communications committee. So that I think the question arose as to whether or not we wanted to change the name, but we did have some discussion in our communications meeting, which just finished up, as to keeping the name the same, but making sure that we incorporate the community engagement into the agenda. So at this point, I'm comfortable withdrawing it, and then we can have future conversation about it if we so choose to change the name.
If no one objects, we'll withdraw this from the agenda for now. And hearing no objection, we will do that. I do know that Member Higgins meant for us to take up some policy in regards to audits of operations, but I've not received an actual document from him. I take it that Ms. Grant does not either. So we will bump that to a future meeting. That brings us back around to restraint and seclusion.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just reviewing this upstairs and I realized I don't think this is everything.
Is there a time constraint when you do get your hands on the whole thing? I know we talked about it, and it's.
Would you give me a minute just to step up?
We're taking a brief at ease.
Member Holloman.
Member Lessons has her hand up.
Hi, just real quick, you shared that there was a proposal for an audit from Member Higgins, and that sounds like something we may be talking about in the upcoming Finance Committee, that we had moved something to the March Finance Committee meeting. So that might be where that conversation is going to be held.
These weren't necessarily financial audits, but more like an audit of, it doesn't rule out financial audits, but his idea was more along the lines of looking at how we do things, looking at our procedures, looking at different things with an outside group to audit those. So that's his idea, but he has yet to actually get anything written in front of us so we can communicate. And I know he was going to try to remote in, but he also is trying to fly out of Juneau, and you know how they handle snow. So he thought he might not be able to be online at the time we're meeting. I don't think his is quite as time sensitive, and we'll hold for a little bit to see how urgent the restraint and seclusion issue is. If it needs to be dealt with today, we'll try to hang out and do that.
We can see what Sven has to say, because this is done. I think just the not latest version was erroneously uploaded. Is my understanding.
I know we had received a copy that Amanda had received, and it did not have any track changes to show the changes. So I went through and compared and put in the track changes. So I have the latest document that was sent to Amanda.
Okay.
But we had to like both double check to make sure that the changes we made reflected what we had.
I see.
So I don't know, maybe there was something after that we didn't get.
Okay, got it. So we'll allow Sven to just report a quick update, and if we need to come back, we'll come back. But the important thing is that we have an executed agreement with the Department of Justice, and internally we're on a path to ending seclusion or minimizing seclusion in the month of March and ending it by the beginning of next school year. So regardless of the policy change, the terms of the agreement are being executed. So that's the gist, but one of the requests was for the board to adjust the policy so that it's in alignment with what the administration will actually be doing.
Yeah. And if it turns out we can just do that a month from now.
Right.
But if you need it to happen sooner than that, we'll do what needs to be done.
I don't have my.
Just spend a little bit more time if we all snuck out while he was gone.
And no hands raised in the queue.
So yeah, I stopped by Romic this morning for their STEM day. That was pretty cool. Over 30 people from the community doing presentations about their jobs, how they got them, what they do. Well, nicely.
It's good. Sorry. Okay, thanks. So we will bring this to the governance next time.
Okay.
because it's still at the lawyer.
Okay. And if it does develop an urgency, we can call a special.
He said that Matt Singer just told me it's okay if we do governance next time and then move forward after that.
Okay.
Because we'll have a governance in, is it 2 weeks?
March 23rd is what's on
March 23rd?
Yeah, it's almost a month.
So we'll make it work. So we apologize for the confusion, but just for the record, we're executing the terms of the agreement. Regardless, this is a procedural matter as part of the settlement.
Yeah.
And this is something the board's been updated on in executive session. So the full board's has been briefed, certainly. That's everything on the agenda.
New business.
Possibly headed for the shortest committee meeting ever. Does anyone have anything else they would like to bring before us?
Member Donnelly.
Member Donnelly?
New business under new business.
Yes.
Could we schedule the 4 amendments that I had presented to your Veterans Day policy change? They were referred to the governance committee, I believe, and I'd like to schedule those.
I apologize for not getting those on the agenda. And I'm going to say I depend on Amanda to do things like that. Obviously, she can't even show up for all the meetings. I'm kidding.
Yeah, you need to make that clear that you're kidding.
I've been told that.
Don't be messing with
her. So if it's timely enough for you, Member Donnelly, we will take those up at the next meeting.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I'm just making notes for my notes. 4 amendments to the, is it National Anthem or Veterans Day? What was the language you just said, Member Donnelly?
They Member Holloman's Veterans Day policy change, not the last, but the one before meeting.
Okay. We will put those on the agenda for the next meeting for certain.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
President Donnelly?
I'm just a clarification. Just so we have the right language, if Member Donnelly could please resubmit those 4 things. I mean, I remember them from discussion, but I don't remember the exact wording of them.
Okay.
And we're in the policy that would change. So if Amanda's already got it, that's great. But if she doesn't, I just make sure we get it right, get the words right. Thank you.
I'm thinking Amanda will have them, and they are, if I remember, all 4 were standalone in that they weren't changing any of the language I had. So I think as they've already been created, they're ready to be talked about. But we'll get them on the agenda and out to people again in advance of the meeting so that people have a chance to look at it.
Member Lessons.
Member Lessons?
Thanks. I just wanted to say for the record, I have a conflict. I will not be in attendance of the next governance committee meeting, but if there are materials available ahead of time, I'd be glad to send any comments to Chair Holloman to be shared at that meeting.
Okay. Any other new business or anything for the good of the order? Hearing nothing, the chair would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
So moved without objection.